seems to be very close.
I imagine like the reason why a lot of like regions would stay with the United Kingdom is for the trade value,
Yeah, of
economically
course.
speaking, and everything.
I mean, economically speaking, it would be absolutely devastating if any of the countries in the United Kingdom split because
Especially for like Wales, because you guys are
we're
kind
tiny.
of small
We're,
compared to the
we're,
rest.
we're a very small nation. I think it can. I think to go all across Wales, it would take you a maximum of about 12 hours
Because
if
like
you
I
wanted
think
to.
Belgium's bigger than you guys.
We could fit it to Luxembourg and still have room. That's the ultimate insult. You guys are so small.
Hey,
You can
hey,
fit
hey,
it to
hey! Don't
Luxembourg.
joke about the Luxembourgians, though. World conquest.
That's my first thing to do when I get Hearts of Iron 4.
Oh, dude, that was one of my first games. Didn't go too well, but hey, almost did. I also did the Bhutan run. We're getting on a completely different topic now.
We
Although,
need to stop. We're too nerdy. Please help.
I am Nerdy John. um, in all seriousness, no. The structure of feudalism I think is very interesting because
Ooh.
it's not really based on how strong your central government is. It's based on, hey, if I just give you this amount of land, you'll be cool with me, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of a lot of because well because a lot of it because the reason you can't really form a government is a lot of time it all comes up to the fact that you don't really have time.
hmm And like the
By the
fall of the Western Roman Empire was so quick.
it was so sudden, so quick that it's just power vacuum. So, what's the easiest way to gain land? It's just give it,
hmm
just take and give, and
Through marriages
fragile
and
alliances through
alliances,
marriages, alliances. Sometimes just
vassal
brother,
states.
kidnap the guy's brother. You know that always works.
Yeah.
I think that's how a couple of battles have been won. It's just kidnap the people who were closest to the opposing forces leader.
Oh yeah, like people like oh yeah, the sieges of the castles. That's always what you see in like the medieval movies. What's funny is that actually rarely happened. It was more like, hey, let's just wait out for a couple of months for winter to hit, and then when their supply runs out, they'll just give it up.
One of the I think a very funny thing with knights is the way you used to invade castles wasn't. Of course, the films make it out to be massive, like, and of
Right.
course they were huge sieges. Of course, you did pelt the enemy with arrows and things to apply pressure to them. But a good way to invade a castle, a very ungodly way, but still a way, was to send a small dispatch of knights to climb up the toilet into the king's quarters.
Wait, so climb up the sewage system?
They used to, yeah, because all medieval toilets used to be was through your entire castle tower you'd have a hole and it would
Mm-hmm.
just drop down and that's it. It would just be a long hole with a hatch.
Oh yeah, real efficient that is.
And of course you probably had like wooden support beams going throughout to make sure it didn't cave in on itself. So the knights would just genuinely just go through the hole and just climb up that and kill the king from the inside.
Okay. But I thought like killing the king was frowned upon.
Yeah, well, maybe not killing the king, but taking him by surprise, taking him by sword, and killing the. I think killing the king is frowned upon if you do it in like an assassination sort of way.
A dishonorable way. You need to give him like
Yeah,
right of combat, that kind of thing.
yeah. The whole thing, like if you meet your king on the battlefield, the whole thing is you sort of duel it out instead.
Right. Although I think if anyone challenges Queen Elizabeth to a fight, it's still not going to be viewed as honorable.
No, because that's a woman. You can't hurt them.
Well, it's not just that; it's the fact that she's over 90 years old. I was going more off that.
I mean, I reckon. You know what? I reckon every single king and prince of England secretly has training in Krav Maga.
I know kung fu.
How do you feel? I know kung fu.
Yeah.
Show me.
Show me your ways. Let me show you
I
the
mean-
ancient technique of money.
Prince William was in the RAF or whatever, so he does know how to fight.
Are there any we're sorry for switching between topics, folks. I know this main thing's supposed to be about medieval history. That is what I'm trying to get the main topic as, but I got some I'm genuinely curious about some of this stuff. So are there any members of the royal family that are disowned currently still alive today?
Yes.
Besides,
Yes.
that whole king's descendants and all that.
No, we've got a full thing is happening right now. Prince William and Princess Meghan and their son Prince Archie have left the royal family.
Oh, seriously? Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I remember now. He's that guy who's claiming that video games shouldn't be made because they're violent and wah.
Yes, and he has I think he's going to Canada.
Oh, of course, Canada.
Of course.
You got
the most peaceful.
those guys are like you except nicer, and like they're the light version of you. Like they're the free version.
They're more French.
Well, that one region's French, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, the entire country's French.
But
They're
yeah,
they're the weird they're the weird amalgamation of what happens when a French person and an English person mate. They're the abomination that gets made. Oh god, I am going to offend. That's gonna offend a Canadian viewer out there somewhere. And then some Australian dude's like, "Hey, why ain't I involved?" And some South African dude just chilling.
prison country. But
So
yeah,
what was he disowned for? Did he say something political?
No, he's not disowned. He's left on his.
I'm sorry, I cut
Um,
up there for a bit. You said he left on his
sorry.
own.
Yeah, he and his wife, Princess Meghan Markle, the actress.
Well, she's now a
Have-
princess by marriage, right? I guess now.
Yeah, I think it's a whole thing to do with the fact that it's probably her. A lot of people, like, obviously we don't get to know much as the public because it's all very private, hush hush, secret.
Right, I imagine like some tabloid articles there. The UK version of TMZ, I'm sure, is on the case.
Pretty much, yeah.
TMZ.
It's a lot of it is down to like the public opinion seems to be Meghan Markle. You know, she loved it when she was a princess and she got the massive royal wedding and all the jewelry and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Does
of
she
course,
does she not like
realized-
Elizabeth?
And then, of course, she realizes, oh wait, I'm also not allowed to be very free. I have to go to all these meetings. I have to shake a lot of hands. It's
Did
a
she
lot
not
of...
know she was getting into that when she married him?
She was American. No offense to America, but
That's right. She
yeah,
is American.
It's very. I always find it so surprising how little America knows about Britain. It scares me sometimes.
Well, I wouldn't expect you guys to know a lot about what happens down here, up here, down here, over here on our side of our neck of the woods. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys didn't know a lot about us.
Bernie Sanders is doing well.
Oh yeah.
Papa,
Yeah.
I think isn't this something the Houston votes might have been a bit iffy? Was that did I hear something about that?
Hmm.
The Houston caucus might have been a little bit iffy.
A little bit iffy, a little bit fishy because they're
I know the Ohio one is completely fishy because the way they did it didn't work and the numbers aren't right at all.
Hey, good. Hey, don't. Hey, I'm from Ohio, buddy.
I not saying much, just saying that for some reason
so-
you guys decided instead of counting the votes, you'd use a phone app.
Okay, do not get. Let's diverge it a bit. She didn't want to be a part of all the meetings, so she was like, "Hey," was she like, "Hey, I don't want to be part of these meetings, but I still want to be married to you because I get to be rich and famous. But I'm already richer and famous, more famous. But yeah, leave your family.
Probably, yeah. And they're gone. They're going to Canada.
He's
They're
like, well, gosh, I love my wife, sure.
yes, of course. He sounds not in the slightest bit like a posh British person.
Does he sound? I've never actually heard audio of the guy. Does he sound pretty snobby? I
Of
have to
course,
imagine.
of course, he's British and he's royal. If he's not snotty,
Uh, well, I think you guys have a better relationship with your monarchies than good old France. Don't think there was a majority. I don't think there was a long period of time where you guys tried to kill yours.
I'm trying to think. Has there ever been a period of time where, well, apart from Oliver Cromwell,
Well, I mean, yeah. Besides that,
but that wasn't really overthrowing because still we took the country back within 5 years or whatever.
right, like the monarchy never took back, and it's because it was so rooted in the old medieval system. Because it was like still in the medieval system, way into the 18th century still.
Yeah, I always I noticed that a lot of things is like the medieval period ends at around 16th century whatever, but especially whenever I was in school, when it pertained to England, it was always medieval history doesn't really end until the Industrial Revolution happens.
By technicality, yeah.
By technicality, Britain is sort of locked into a time frame where it's until a Welsh person discovers that steam can power things. Hooray, Wales, by the way. Until then,
Props
we're
to you
still
guys.
just peasant farmers and
Right,
kings.
because while the government itself was becoming stronger, more centralized, wealth, like the economic gap between the rich and the poor, was still a pretty big thing.
It was a I mean, it was a huge thing until I'd say until 1950s. That's when the economic gap really like closed up. But until then, you could tell who was poor and who was not.
Right.
The best part about it is medieval laws are terrible for poor people. Because I think
Really?
there was a whole law in Britain where I think it was for some reason it was if you were a vagabond you could not legally get a job, but since you could get a job you can get money, so you had to remain a vagabond, but it
Right.
was also illegal to be a vagabond.
So, okay, quick question. So, if like, let's say if like one of the British royal family members, like if they wanted to like date a commoner, and I'm not talking like famous actress, like a regular old 9 to 5 person, they could legally do that, right?
Oh, yeah, if they fall in love with I think actually if I can remember correctly, Princess Kate isn't before she married to Prince William, she's nothing of note, I don't think. Same with Princess Diana, I don't think she was anything. In fact, I think she was a school teacher.
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that the one who got into that car accident?
It was the one who died, yes.
Oh, oh no. I'm sorry. I'm laughing about it now because I'm an early 2000s kid, so it's like that happened way a little before my time.
It happened before my time as well.
But she was a really popular figurehead, wasn't she?
She was insane, but very popular.
Was she insane?
Oh yeah, she said a bunch of she was one of those, not insane in the way that she was said cuckoo. Well, she said
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
she said I think she had a lot of like those sort of sort of stupid views on the world where it was
Very naive.
very very naive, and she tried to push for a lot of odd, very weird things. I think quite conservative things, which To conservatives, good. To people who are for labor, like me, not so good. You know, labor is better than conservative. Always.
To move a little like aside from the political view, because like that's still a bit modern. That might ruffle a few feathers.
We're sorry, but we just like talking so much.
This is slowly becoming the Joe Rogan podcast.
I mean, honestly though, as a quick side note, the thing with medieval history is it's very relevant to this today.
Yeah, it's sort of because history affects future events.
Yeah.
What I find funny is the Holy Roman Empire, which is considered the first German Reich, lasted until Napoleon came around and was like, "Hey, I don't like you, Holy Roman Empire. You're now not a thing."
Good old Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh yes, that famous figure.
He is a man of legend.
Yeah, and then Austria was big enough to become their own separate empire.
Yes, the Austrian Empire, which
Habsburgs, anyone?
Good old Austrian Empire. You know.
If you want to talk about family relations in the medieval period, the Habsburgs are where you want to start. Isn't there a Habsburg running for office somewhere now though? Isn't he trying to be a part of the political system in Austria right now?
I have a feeling I've heard something about that. It's the whole one of the most incestuous families ever.
All right.
We love you, Austria. We love you, Austria.
Like, if you think Spain's bad, let me tell you.
I mean, we gotta hand it to Austria though. Austria they've done well.
Yeah.
For a while, they did well.
I mean, for good or bad, they had a lot of people from that region who, let's just say, changed the shape of history. Cough, World War II. Good job coughing there.
That was just my asthma.
Oh. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I'm just slowly dying.
If you want to look at it, we're all dying.
Oh no, I'm dying faster than y'all.
Oh yeah, I'll prove you wrong right now.
That was. I apologize for my crass humor. If you do require mental health help,
call the number below.
Call the number below, because now that we've said that,
okay, you're gonna make me post like a suicide hotline now in the description. Thanks, Bags.
You're the one who invited me here.
I gotta put more effort into this now.
Like we were putting effort into it in the first place. We're talking about
0 times 400 still a 0.
I mean, we're talking about the one period of history where we could still sometimes say, "Oh yeah, dragons existed," and you can't really say no because there's no history that says that they definitely didn't. And
right, it's like you have to go, "Oi, I saw a dragon, I did." Oh, Gary, prove it. Oh, I saw it with my own eyes. That sounds more pirate.
I almost quoted Skyrim there.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow
to the knee. Do you reckon there was ever a guard in like real medieval society? Yeah. I used to travel across all of France. I did. Then I got shot in the knee.
Yeah. I used to conquer all of Europe. Then I got an STD and died.
Oh God, could you imagine how many STTs went around those days?
Oh dear God, no one was. People thought it was unhealthy to bathe. Like
Oh, shit.
like people were concerned that Queen Elizabeth would die of disease because she took a bath every 6 months. Like, you know why like spices were so valuable? It
They
wasn't
made you.
it wasn't because like it was good on food. It was because it masked their ugly, smelly scent.
Oh God. Just the amount of, just the fact that you think about it, and the fact that you realize that they didn't know that they had an STD. They just sort of.
Oh, there's this gross stuff on my area.
Oh, no,
Well, I must have sinned in the Lord's eyes then, because they thought all diseases back then were like God's way of punishing them.
A curse of God.
Yeah.
Medieval punishments are the best.
Oh, they're terrifying.
They are no, they're not. They are not terrifying. They are effective.
Effective yet terrifying.
I did an entire course in school where it was simply just how punishing people changed over the years.
Oh God, that's and I'm sure like all your masochists in the class were like, yes,
was
teach
me.
me more.
That was me.
Oh no. Oh
I
no. Oh no.
I was the kid who went. Hang on. I was the kid who went. Oh, I know that one.
50 Shades of Grey, British edition.
Hey, castration. That's one of my favorite methods.
Oh. I'm sorry for the viewers who are watching this right now. If you hear noise in the background, I'm sorry for that. That's my brother. He's having a rough time right now. Yeah, because I usually explain this every time this happens, but my brother has autism, so sometimes when he gets really angry, he starts having crying fits, and so he's having one at the moment. I'm not sure if you can really hear it, but if you do, viewers hear it. That's the reason why.
Yeah, medieval punishments are. They're very creative, actually.
Creative, yeah. That's the disturbing part.
Well, they are. I mean, you got to admit, they thought of everything for any crime.
Right.
If you, just some of the ones like the simple ones. You know, you've got the stocks.
The stocks.
The stocks. You know what the stocks are, don't you?
Yeah, the ones on Wall Street, buddy.
Oh no! Do I have to explain stocks?
You might.
Okay, so I don't know.
That course in medieval torture is really gonna help you out now.
It is really gonna help me. Oh my gosh! Thank you, Miss Rumsby.
Is Rumsby? That's the name of your teacher?
That was the
That
name
is
of my
like
teacher.
That's the most like British/UK name I can think of. It's like it's like when you run into an American named Josh or Chad.
Chad.
Yeah, that's a Chad right there.
Right. So.
Are you the Chad of Europe?
So it's a wooden frame where you put your head and your arms through.
Oh, those. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yes, the good old stocks and
Okay, because you see those in cartoons all the time. I just never knew what they were called.
Yeah, you see them in cartoons, and the cartoons always make them seem like, oh, it's not too bad of a punishment. Apart from the fact that the death toll for them was incredibly high.
Seriously? Just for being one of those?
Oh
Was
yeah,
it
because
was it like the executioner would just cut your head off while you were there?
no, you didn't. You didn't. No, you. It wasn't execution. The way you died was very horrific. The whole thing was that you would be stopped in public, and the public would be able to throw items at you, like fecal matter and
Ugh.
rotten food.
So just a bunch of
Um,
chimps throwing stuff at you.
of course, think about that. You're in a position where your body is contorted in a way that you can't really move it. You can't move, and you can't move your head either.
And you can't
If
move your
something
hands really either.
if something gets in your mouth and gets far enough down, you're choking on it and you will die.
Hmm.
So a lot of it was they died from choking on whatever was thrown at them.
That's a
And
very slow
also,
death too.
if something hit them in the head hard enough, that's just plonk, you're dead. Because we can't fix head injuries here. But yeah,
Can't really
that's,
fix your dental either. Oh, I did it! I made the dental
Oh,
joke.
oh, the dental joke, which is
It only took an hour and a half in the podcast to make the old English dental joke,
oh,
guys.
the dental joke, which unfortunately, bad dentistry in the Middle Ages has been disbanded since now.
Hey, I lasted this long without making the joke. You gotta be proud of me for that one.
I'm very proud. Normally, as soon as you mention medieval, where you guys have bad teeth,
Yeah, in your face.
way in your face, Britain, and of course, me, an intellectual. No, nobles had bad teeth. Peasants had good
200 IQ.
peasants had good teeth because they had nothing that would make your teeth rot out.
Right. Well, I mean, like I'm sure, like
Because
the teeth themselves would decay over time with age, but it's
oh,
like, yeah, you're not really
but,
eating anything that's too intense on the teeth because it comes from all the rich stuff that or acids that come in food. Like wine, for example, has a lot of acids in it.
I mean, think
So,
about it now. Nobles thought sugar was good toothpaste.
oh yeah, that's a good point. Oi, my lord, this new product, sugarcane, it comes from the Caribbean. This might do good for you. Of course, that's way beyond. They did have sugar in Europe, but it's like mass production in the Caribbean.
And then, yeah, but it's and of course the way peasants would freshen up their breath after a meal is they'd go to the river, get some water, they'd get maybe some nice smelling plants, and they just rub them on their teeth with some water, which isn't good in any way.
It's healthier than the
It's
sugar,
it's
though.
it's much better. In fact, I think they've proven that if they lived in a good area and if they had the right sort of plants, it could actually be just as beneficial as having modern age toothpaste.
Imagine me, that unfortunate guy who's just rubbing like poison ivy on his teeth.
That's the village idiot there. Look at him. We give him poison ivy instead of mint bush. He just looks up. I don't understand. Why is my mouth stinging so much?
Why?
Ow.
Why am I in this forever torment?
The worst bit is that you know that the guy whoever's assigned as the village idiot, everyone is related to him somehow.
Oh, you.
'Cause
Oh, that's crazy, Uncle Steve.
that's the only way that you can spawn that in that period is incest.
Right, because it's like a whole village was actually like one big family. There may have been like one or two people who weren't completely related.
The local merchant who gets all the girls.
Right.
Because of course, there's always a traveling merchant.
Oh yeah, the handsome merchant comes in with all like his riches and stuff. Well, he's richer than the people there, and all
of course
the
he
village ladies are like, ooh.
oh, sir. And then of course while he
Could you
sleeps
show
with
me
his
your
son-
wares?
And then of course while he sleeps with the women, his son goes and kidnaps children from an orphanage for slavery. I may or may not have. That may sound insane until you realize that's an actual book that exists and it's amazing. It's such a good book.
What's
So
the book
good.
called?
It's called Coram Boy.
Corn Boy?
Coram Boy. I don't know.
Oh, Corn Boy.
It's a. I think it's like a orchestral church somewhere in England is Coram, the Church of Coram or whatever.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
And the basic gist of it is it takes place in two time periods, and it's about sort of the whole life of this sort of group of people who sort of go through huge tragedy and stuff, and it's a very good book. It's dark.
I would imagine. I think we can't really discuss medieval Europe without talking about a certain plague.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the bubonic plague, which in a weird way was very beneficial for Europe. If I know that sounds weird considering like it wiped out the majority of the population, but
a third of Europe disappeared. It was very beneficial.
Well, it's like because like we go over it in world history here because it's a significant event, obviously, and
Yes.
the way it worked was because you had lots of less people. There were like skills were more valued, like your blacksmith. You would play your blacksmith more to make you more weapons, armor, stuff like that, and so he would get more coinage. So that's an economic boom in that sorts because he was able to invest more. The whole economic system.
Yeah.
Would be. So in that way, it was technically beneficial.
Yeah, if you have just the less amount of people you have, the more important certain people become, and
Right.
because of course doctors become the most prized thing in the world at that point.
Oh God. Well, I mean, like to be fair, the doctors were kind of feared because plague doctors.
The doctors were terrible.
They didn't know what they were doing.
You know what? You know what? Did you know that if you have the bubonic plague, I'm telling you now, you don't need no vaccine. You don't need no cure. No. Rub cold chicken skin on your face.
Or have these leeches suck the toxic blood out.
Which actually does work. Leeches do work, and we still
I
use
ain't
them today.
putting I ain't putting no leech on me though.
They still use them for blood transfusions.
I don't care. I'm not going to Europe then.
They still use it it's all over the world. It's a proper medical thing. We still use it. Everyone still uses leeches. Or do you have a headache? I have a drill. Drill a hole into the head to let the demons out.
Oh yeah, perfect sense. Oh, what's that? He died? Oh, must have been the demons.
The demons got him.
Oh yeah, the demons got him before I could save him, guys. Now what's that pink stuff leaking out?
Oh God.
I think because you had the Renaissance period before the Industrial period. The Renaissance period was there wasn't really a lot of wars. Of course, there were still wars, but it's like that was a time of economic growth because trade with the Italian city-states became valuable because they were trading with the Ottoman Empire, who just kind of kicked Byzantium out to the curb. It took over all of Greece and somewhat a good decent size of the Balkans, which I'm sure led to no bad, unfortunate historical events later on.
Hush. We don't talk about that one. Shh.
Be very,
Hush now.
But yeah, the Renaissance period was, I think it's still considered part of the medieval ages technically, but the Renaissance period was a very different time than early medieval history.
It's a big old culture boom.
Yeah, because people started doing excursions to ancient Rome and to Greece, and so historical architectural value, and then artistry was more valued.
Yeah, it's a good era for not so much for the fun stuff in history, the wars and
the dinosaurs. Yeah.
not as fun for wars, but it's brilliant for art and culture is it's the biggest boom of art we know.
Mm-hmm.
it's like the only time in history where everyone was like, "Oh yes, I like art."
Yeah, and you might have heard from a guy named Leonardo.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah, he might have actually done some atomical research, and so like he realized, oh hey, these are where the human parts are located. Maybe we should know where this is for like future medical procedures.
Yeah, of course, because yeah, medicine advances.
Yeah, they also
Med-
discovered that gravity was indeed a thing.
oh, that's the by an apple.
Yeah. Although it's still funny though, because you have people today who argue that gravity is just a way for society to control us.
Ooh, oh my gosh! Did you know that I'm controlled by gravity? How do people make that connection?
It's
Because
like
I told.
it's like people think, oh yeah, they're just trying to get us into that mindset so that way we don't think about the other big issues about society.
Well, we do think about all the issues because gravity isn't an issue. It's not broken.
Dude, come to America sometime. We have a lot of conspiracy nuts.
My boyfriend lives in America. I gotta go there sometime.
Well, that's your excuse. I don't care. I don't care what state he lives in. Come to like what's a good conspiracy state? Let's see. Go to like Tennessee sometime.
Oh, I dated someone from Tennessee once.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Was he the only 10 that you see?
She was. Uh, we we don't talk about that one anyway.
Can't handle a
That's
good Southern chick.
no, that's the one. That's the one that causes me PTSD.
Oh God.
It did. It was not good for my mental health.
What can I say? Those crazy Southern lasses.
Goes crazy Southern lasses. Although I gotta admit though, I do like country music.
Get out. Get out.
I wanna ride a horse.
Drink.
New hit song.
Drink the beer. Drive my 4-wheel truck. How is country music popular in your neck of the woods?
I don't know.
It's a distinctly American genre. How is it popular over there?
Well, I don't know. Maybe
Do you have British country?
do we have? Oh my gosh! Actually, technically, in a way, yes. It's a lot more. It's a lot more. It's a lot older.
Yeah, we'll just file it under like world music or something. Put it in
Yes.
that genre.
Uh,
So like,
what was-
okay, this is gonna sound like a dumb American thing to ask, but like in America we have like Latin music as its own separate genre, even though that's kind of weird to do it.
Yes.
In British in the UK, is there like a separate? Here's the American music.
Oh God, yes. American. What we know as American music is, you've got you only use 4 different chords to make every single song.
Hey, if I'm correct, Ed Sheeran's from your neck of the woods. Don't be talking.
Hey, I like Ed Sheeran. He's British.
Also, you have that Scottish dude, who's basically a knockoff version of him.
Oh, what?
But
Lewis
now the
Capaldi?
day bleeds into nightfall.
And
Who
you're not here.
who like I know he's related to the dude who played the 12th Doctor.
Yes. But no, I think American music. When we think of American music, a lot of country music and a lot more like classic rock music, like Springsteen and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we go. Oh, that's American. But then we go, but don't worry, we've got our own genres. We got punk and metal.
Yeah, you guys have Iron Maiden,
We got
Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath.
The Clash, the Ramones.
Although let's be
Sex
honest, the
Pistols.
Clash had a pretty crappy last album.
The only Clash song I like is "Should I Stay or Should I Go."
Seriously.
Yeah, I
Should
don't
I
really like
stay
them.
or should I go?
Should I go? But I
Well,
do
it's like,
like.
what we consider punk music now is very different from like the 70s version of punk. Not
Well-
very different, but it's because like punk is usually like a very fast chord progression based music genre.
Yeah, punk has evolved a lot more now into.
Right.
What
it's
I would
like,
say,
it's like instead of being like, hey, I don't like how society's run, it's more like, I don't like my mom and dad.
it's punk has always been very much it's giving light to an emotional problem that someone has, and it is. You can give punk whatever shtick you want about it being. I'm sad and depressed, but at the
Yeah.
same time,
I still
oh,
blame
damn.
Canada for Simple Plan.
Like, punk is also-
I indirectly blame all of you too, because Canada's one of your previous colonies.
But what? Come on, what is truly wrong with punk, guys? What's wrong with punk?
Oh, there's nothing
It's-
wrong with punk as a genre. I love punk. It's just when
I
you
love
get
punk
when, it's when you get to that bad side of it where it's more whiny than anything else. It's not saying anything
Oh, God.
meaningful.
It's like good
Good
punk
Charlatan.
is- Good Charlotte is good.
Good Charlotte is good.
It's in the name.
I didn't like them personally.
I mean, they're not my favorite by a long shot.
I've noticed something though. The British cannot rap. I like like if we're talking a little bit about music genres here. I haven't seen one good British
genuinely
rapper.
can't. We can't. I can't even deny this. I have no defense for that. We can. I mean, we can rap, but for some reason, none of us know how to make good rap songs. Like I can. I mean, I've got a friend who can do Rap God faster than Eminem could.
Oh, son. I'm not even a big Eminem fan. I'm a bit fishy on that, considering Eminem just broke his record for that.
Oh, trust me,
with his new album.
I mean, it's not really rap though, is it? It's grime. We've got grime.
Yeah, you guys got like the alternative hip hop genres that you guys can weasel your way through.
Oh, I hate them. I deeply hate any modern British music apart from like, slow dance songs like Ed Sheeran or Lewis Capaldi. I hate this stupid like. I just.
I blame you guys for what we call like the modern music contest show, because you guys got a guy from there who started Pop Idol, which started American Idol. Now you got X Factor and all this other crap. I blame you.
Well. Oh well. Why are we talking about what happened to you?
I don't know. We got off track very fast.
We need to have just a general discussion podcast.
Right. It's like the Joe Rogan podcast, but like it's a bunch of virgins talking about stuff.
Just the title of the podcast is "Bunch of Virgins Talk About Stuff."
Yeah, it's not a creative title, but effective.
It's we could get hands on.
All right, guys. Serious discussion. Which part of the Death Star was most crucial?
Surely it was the big laser.
Right. Well, if you look at lore, if you look at Chapter 5, page 7, in the Legends article for Star Wars, you see they describe the metal structures.
We love you, Hans. Please don't beat me with a stick.
Oh, God.
You threatened me.
Have
once.
you ever heard read Hans's rants on why he thinks all the monarchies in Europe should be brought back to power?
God, the rants I've seen from Hans so far. I've had 4 coronavirus,
Oh yeah. Okay,
and I
and
had
for those of you who don't know who Hans is, he's a Swedish dude in Florida.
that's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all. That's all you need to know. He's a Twitch streamer slash YouTuber from Sweden who has a German father who's in Florida.
Oh God, he's got the worst mix of everything. He's got a little bit of postal in him, a little bit of dictator.
Yeah. Well, it's like a Frankenstein of let's see what we can mix together.
Let's get the worst things we can think of.
Watch, this is
Put it
gonna be
into
one.
it.
This is gonna be one of the few videos that Hans watches fully of me, and he's gonna be like, "What the heck, man?"
Why'd you insult me?
Yeah. And then he's gonna into our comment section.
Oh God, don't you already half the time I'm in a voice chat.
You ever hear him say, "I smell pennies"? Oh my God, he gets way into it. Okay, now we're having an entire rant on Hans. Let's get back on track.
This is for another podcast.
Right. This is actually an entirely separate podcast, by the way. Well, and in all seriousness, thank you for being a guest on Some History Dudes. That's the title of this podcast.
Nice. I'm very glad I came in to talk about Europe.
Right. For what little we did, we probably it's like I bet you can like edit it down to maybe like 45 minutes of us talking about Europe itself.
What else is there to say though? We've kind of like in all covered it.
Yeah.
Not in detail, but we've covered everything. You know, you've got the wars,
All the
you've got
major stuff
plagues.
anyway, like in
All the
terms of
major stuff.
significant historical stuff. Wasn't Germany like before the Holy Roman Empire? Wasn't Germany an actual kingdom, or was it just
I think wasn't Germany just a bunch of like mercenaries and stuff?
And then the Teutonic Order went like, hey, let's not totally violently convert the Polish Commonwealth into being not pagan. And so like they took over like you know where like Prussia started out in.
Yeah.
They took over like that little region, and that's what we know as modern. Like that's where that's what we know as modern German.
Good old modern Germany.
Because that area of Europe was originally Eastern, what we would consider Eastern European.
Yeah.
Let's see, Russia was sort of a thing. It was more along the lines of a city-state. It was called Muscony, I believe.
But why couldn't they've kept that?
Muscony as the name.
Yeah.
Do you think it sounds cooler than Russian?
No,
Russia?
it's less intimidating.
Oh, you want them to be less scary.
Yes, I'm terrified of them now. If I do that, hey, we are Spetsnaz, we come from Muscony.
We are from Mother Russia.
Muscony.
Let's go back until let's take a time machine, go back to medieval Europe, and introduce communism a couple hundred years early.
Ooh, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
there.
let's see the results.
Honestly, now that you've said that, I really would like to. What would it be? What would really happen if communism was invented a couple centuries before? How would that go down?
Right, that would be kind of interesting because democracy is a way older system though, and it wasn't really introduced into Europe that well. It wasn't until modern times, really.
Europe is, when you look back, Europe is like barbaric.
Right.
That's all hell.
You guys are messed up.
Yeah, we are. Because there's the Ottoman Empire and
and the
to, like,
atrocities that it committed.
Yeah, and of course the Byzantine Empire and Ottoman Empire. They sort of view, especially West, it's viewed as just this pointless little group of small countries who constantly fight each other over silly little things.
Like, I'm pretty sure every country in Europe has committed an atrocity some way or another.
Oh, of course. I think I think that's the. I love how it's always look Britain and America. You know they are great nations who've never done any wrong.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a narrative. That's a narrative pushed. I'm pretty sure if you look hard enough, Sweden probably like not. Yeah, it's Switzerland.
I think there's a village somewhere that's just it wasn't it. It was there.
It was
Keyword.
there,
It was.
and then some blokes with a plus sign flag came in.
Have you ever seen there's a good video a British comedian saying Britain has defeated every country that has ever existed ever.
This is gonna be a really generic question, but was that Ricky Gervais?
No, it wasn't. It was Al Murray.
Um,
He's only popular in Britain. Really. He's not very popular outside of the UK. It's he's very good at his history, but it's a whole thing of how, upon many technicalities, in a way, Britain has defeated every single country on planet Earth.
almost every single country.
The ones that existed at the time of whatever they, because of course, because you have every country has its little colonies dotted around the world.
Right. So you guys technically
When
defeated
you,
India, even though India wasn't a full country at that point.
when we got India, there was only one actual battle ever fought, which is it was actually a very horrific battle.
Well, yeah, because weren't
Um,
they fighting for their independence at one point?
Something like that. But I think is India independent now? Basically,
I would hope so. Yeah, yeah, kind of is.
it's
You
it's a
guys screwed up.
Commonwealth.
You guys screwed up the borders on that one, though.
We screw up everything and then we leave it alone. That's our motto.
Yeah. Unlike America, we definitely know what we're doing. Nervous laughter.
Vietnam.
I was going more towards like the Middle East stuff.
Oh no. Oh, I thought I went Vietnam because I thought Middle East was a bit too close.
um yeah, well, in all seriousness, what's interesting about Switzerland is they had more civil wars than like foreign wars, because no one wants to make the effort to go into the mountainous regions of Switzerland and try to conquer them. But Switzerland doesn't really have the manpower to expand.
So what do? We just fight each other.
Right? And then hey, let's buy all of our mercenaries from Switzerland. And then Switzerland became one of the richest countries.
I always what's the country that's like just remained super safe throughout all of history? Is there a country?
Luxembourg?
Luxembourg just been sitting there the whole time.
Okay, in all seriousness, let's see. Like as far as like untouched by war, I mean technically your safest bet is Switzerland. Because like the civil war has only happened a few times.
Yeah. Heard it here first, folks. Switzerland, best country in the world.
Well, what's funny is Hitler, he had plans to invade Switzerland, but everyone was like, "No, that's way too much effort."
No.
All of his general, because like that was the original plan to like invade France from that region.
Hey, look, Adolf. There's a Stalingrad over here. Wanna?
Well, no, they went around like Belgium and the Netherlands.
Yeah, they went.
I'm pretty sure even in modern times today with our drones and stuff, it probably would still be a heck of a time trying to take over that place.
Oh yeah, I mean, modern technology can only get you so
right
until we develop space lasers.
Mm-hmm. Then no one can stop us.
Haven't you seen that Trump has declared like the space
Marines?
The space marine camo is like forest camo, but they're in space, and it doesn't make any sense.
That whole thing is It's like when Russia and the U.S. were going for like the Cold War space race.
Space race.
Yeah, it's mainly like, hey, we're above here. We can strike you at any point in time. Don't mess with us. It's kind of like that situation.
Yeah.
I legitimately try to stay out of politics because that's just a headache.
Politics is a headache. Everything is a headache.
Now, if we're talking medieval politics, on the other hand,
Oh.
that's far enough away where I get interested.
Medieval politics is good because it's simple. It's
Right.
oh,
It's
I don't
hey,
like you.
hey, I'm in your court. I'm going to kill you, and then maybe marry your wife for legitimacy.
Oh, can you imagine what it's like to be a woman back then? Like just as
Oh
an
dear
as
God! Oh, that's would be an awful time in history.
oh,
Like,
especially
like the
just
closest thing we have for a woman to experience that would be like living in the Middle East.
yeah. It's just oh God.
Right, because if you were a poor woman, you were married to like a farmhand who you were most likely maybe like no, because the peasants didn't really practice incest. It was mainly the royal family.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you could never um rise above your status, and you were most likely raped by like invaders from other kingdoms.
Yeah.
It's sad but true.
Yeah.
And then if you were a noblewoman, you had a better lifestyle in terms of home comfort, but you couldn't decide what direction to take in your life. It was,
Oh no,
hey,
you were
I'm going to marry you off to this lord, so that way we have good relations with them.
and then yeah, it is just
And the only way you could ever take anything over is if like your parents didn't have any brothers or sons,
it's ugh, oh, poor women.
right?
I mean, it's not bad for it's horrible for most women for sure, but it's women are a lot more they do a lot more, especially in societies where lords and stuff weren't as popular, like the more tribal societies. You
They
had a
yeah
lot.
they didn't they
You had
respected women a lot more like what was respected for back then in terms.
oh
But yeah.
yeah, because you had like great female warriors and stuff. Like
Because they were small enough to where, hey, we need the women to fight.
yeah, but it was like they were. It's interesting because it's the way that the society's evolved. It's in tribal lands. It's we all have to fight for this, and then with more structured societies, it's no. I, Sir Brave Eric, will fight for you.
Yes,
Super.
I will defend your honor.
The 7th of May, the year 540, Sir Eric was shot in the head by an arrow.
What's funny is the Vikings. They were so advanced with their sailing technology that they actually discovered the Americas first.
Oh yeah,
And then
shout out to
they actually
shout
had
out
some
to
fights.
the Vikings,
They actually had some fights with Native Americans.
and we can see who won them.
Right. It's like I think it was actually pretty even though like the Vikings had some armor. The problem was they were smaller numbers.
Yeah, because of Viking just means expedition. Because they weren't always as the Vikings sort of developed the tactic of hit and run, if I remember correctly.
Right, it was let's get in quick. Let's just like they actually had, from what Hans has told me, they actually had some Roman tactics in terms of fighting.
And as we all know, Romans had very
right. They like the way Hans and I discussed it was any modern well, I mean like modern in terms of medieval. If a medieval army went up against an ancient like height of its power Roman army, they would be demolished by the Romans.
Yeah, because they just had it's a thing that you always see throughout a lot of history. It's almost never ever determined by what your army has or your numbers. It's always determined by the tactics that you apply to said army.
And Roman strategists were brilliant.
Oh, some of the best.
The
Just-
problem was they had constant civil wars.
Yeah, but apart from
I'm the
apart from
emperor.
that,
No, I'm the emperor.
it's just the whole period of time where they went through like 10 emperors like a month.
Right, which did not help them whatsoever because that destroyed them economically.
Yeah,
And then,
Ugh.
who?
because
If I remember correctly, like when the final like Western Roman emperor died, it was like that was like just everyone had enough. It was just like, yep, we're gonna just start our own stuff now.
let's just yeah.
And a guy named Charlemagne came along. It's like, hey, I almost have Europe conquered. Crown me emperor, and that's how the Roman Empire got started. And that the Holy Roman Empire, sorry, HRE.
Yes. Medieval history it goes through this it is a lot of just 1 year this guy rules and then suddenly this guy rules because he just killed the other guy and then this guy rules.
Yeah, because he just died from disease and now his son's taking over.
I mean, is there ever apart from of course the holy Switzerland, is there ever a nation which remains at best for more than a decade?
Did Switzerland ever have a king or a queen? I think they were pretty much a federation, weren't they, from the beginning?
Probably. Well, whatever their leader-ish thing was. President of Sweden back in 500.
Yeah. Well, it's like I'm not. Obviously, it might not have been like a total democracy, but like because of the fact that they didn't get into a lot of wars other than the civil wars, I can imagine there wasn't really a lot of points where like their government changed entirely.
No, yeah, of course. So yeah, it would probably have just remained because if your government can't evolve to, that's a good. How on earth do you decide royal family?
I think it came down to the fact that whoever like still remained wealthy after the Western Empire fell, it was just like, hey, let's spend the money now, and like get a bunch of land, like whoever, like I'm sure like in the beginning of like the very beginning of when the Western Empire fell, it was a lot of either tribes who were able to maintain a lot of wealth and show that chieftains shared their wealth among their close allies, or it was like former like Roman nobles or Roman legionnaires who were able to maintain power in some way, shape, and form, and their descendants ended up believing that it was their divine right by God to rule over the peasants.
It's really surprising how a lot of the way that a leader is determined is simply down to blind faith in Catholicism.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Pope.
It really is just giving hope to the hopeless.
Right. Well, it's like if you're because like the reason why people look for religion is because they're looking for the answers. They're looking for like a happy ending for them and like a bad ending for those who they believe have wronged them in the past, and it provides comfort for a lot of people. And so if you got a guy who's saying, hey, all this good stuff will happen to you as long as you remain, like if you follow these sets of rules, then a good, prosperous life will be available for you. And so that's
I'm gonna follow the rules.
Yeah, like that. Well, that's like how a lot of cults get started, because like the head guy in charge is able to persuade them. And so I'm sure like having that as a skill and a few hundred coins helps out in the end.
Yeah, because I mean, all you need to start a religion, a promise, and a book.
Right.
Promise on the book. If you make it in Latin, it really doubles how well you can do.
It really legitimizes your view.
And if you proclaim that you've seen something, you can make a religion out of that.
Yeah. Scientology, anyone?
Oh.
I'm curious, are there any British Scientologists out there?
Are there any? Maybe, probably.
Yeah, we Americans have to deal with that.
Oof. I mean, what's the craziest version I can think? I
Great,
mean,
great.
the craziest thing we've probably got is stuff like flat earthers and things.
Oh, that's that's casual stuff for us now.
What's the one that the ones that believe in the Cthulhu mythos.
Wait, like people actually legitimately believe that
Uh, Cosmologists, yeah, legitimately.
Wait, that's like people actually believe in the Cthulhu mythos. They don't. They like
Yes.
H.P. Lovecraft kind of did that as just a story, guys.
No, yeah, there's people who fully like believe like
I thought
the
Cthulhu
other.
cultists were just a thing made up for movies and games, dude.
No, they're not so much cultists as they are just it's not in the way that the games or books whatever portray them as
We will
evil
summon
cults.
Cthulhu.
Cosmologists, as far as you can tell, in the real world, it's a lot more of just people think there's something out there, and they think that cosmology is like the easiest way to explain what is out there.
Well, it's like I, I don't believe like aliens have been controlling society like some people do. But I definitely think like there is some extraterrestrial life out there in the universe.
Of course, the
'Cause it's-
Transformers. Why?
the Transformers, guys.
Come on, it's obvious.
Michael Bay documented in the series about the historical events that were, and we all got mind wiped to believe that they didn't happen.
Come on, you've all seen Men in Black. You know what they do.
Right. Men in Black and Transformers crossover confirmed.
Michael Bay in talks.
Michael Bay.
Will Smith. Transformers in Black.
Oh dear God! If they, oh God, let's be honest. All the Men in Black movies have been crap since the first one.
Oh,
Like
the
the
first
first-
is good. The
Well,
first one's good.
the first one is good. Then it's a spiral downhill ever since, especially with
Oh.
this international one that just recently came out. Or is it still coming out, or did it just recently come out?
It's come out. I've got it on DVD somewhere in my house.
Oh God, it's already on DVD.
Oh yeah.
Cause like I remember watching some trailers for it, then it just went silent, and it's like, oh no, it's either got delayed or it's like it did super bad.
It did super bad.
Cause like it was a heavy advertisement because it got the guy who played Thor in it,
Of course. I mean,
and like I'm sure if there were good reviews of it, we would have seen something.
yeah, but oh. The best film of 2019 was Joker.
I still need to see that.
You haven't seen Joker?
Not yet, no.
We have to stop talking about Europe now. I don't care. Why?
Hey, look, there's a king in Europe over there. Let's go look at that.
Plague!
Oh yeah. Oh, excuse me. Look, the plague. Let's talk about that.
It is fun to talk about the plague.
Said no one during that time.
Do you want to know what stopped the plague in Britain?
What was that?
The Great Fire of London.
I mean, yeah,
The Great Fire of London
Genuinely
genuinely did stop the plague
because everyone who had
because
the plague
it,
kind of
it
died.
killed all the rats.
Well, the fleas on the rats
Well,
were carrying the disease.
Yeah, but it killed
Semantics.
either way. If you look at like the statistics after the Great
Mhm.
Fire of London, the death toll from the plague plummeted very quickly.
Well, you know what's funny? When the plague was starting, like, because it originated from Asia. When
Yes.
the plague was first being hit, the Mongolian Empire would
no.
actually use the dead bodies from the people who had the disease as a sort of chemical warfare, because they would launch the dead bodies with a catapult. They would launch them into like a city that was resisting, and so everyone would die and would be too weak to resist Mongolian forces. So they would just stroll on in.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how chemical warfare has been a thing
Right.
since the Mongolian Empire.
That Geneva Convention, you're a little late.
Eh. No, no more chemical warfare. Already happened.
Yeah.
Chemical warfare is
It's awful. It's
it's awful.
genuinely
It is
awful.
it's just
But yeah, that is, in all seriousness, that is really interesting though.
yeah that not only that the Mongolians invented chemical warfare.
Well, it's not they invented it necessarily. I'm sure if we look back further in time, there's probably some guy who was like, "Oh, hey, if we crush this up and throw it at people, they die." Yeah, I just said they use the plague in a very unique way. I guess it's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they. I mean, you when life gives you lemons,
You may guess.
you create a weapon,
Right.
a deadly weapon.
Well, and you know we didn't discuss medieval Europe the entire time. It was
No.
great having you on as a guest.
It was wonderful to be here. I'm
Right.
very happy.
We're on like the 2 hour and 12 minute mark,
Oh God,
and I know.
so sorry everyone.
Oh, and I know like the time zone for you is it's much later than it is for me. It's probably like 10
Okay.
o'clock or 11 o'clock here.
It's 3 a.m.
3 a.m. for you. Oof.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna let you off.
No.
Thank you for, like I said, thank you for your time, everyone. This is Bagman. I'm gonna leave a link to his Twitch in the description so that way you guys can check out his streams. I suggest you do. He does D&D campaigns. He plays Minecraft. Not a lot as of yet because he's a filthy Mac user. Oh, I can't really josh you on that because I use it for work.
I'm
work
waiting
and
for
school.
Hans to buy me Hearts of Iron.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Nerdy John signing out. Y'all have a lovely night whenever this gets uploaded. And I hope you all enjoyed the third episode of Some History Dudes, and as of now, the longest episode.
Whoa! Yes.
Yeah, because
That's
the
my
first
achievement.
the first episode was about 45 minutes, and then the second episode was 25.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
and then this is gonna make my PC cry when I render it out for Adobe
That's-
Premiere.
Oh, it'll be that'll
Yeah, because it
good luck
takes
with that one,
it takes
John.
it takes it 2 hours to render out a 30-minute video. So this is gonna be fun.
Oh.
I'm gonna wake up in the morning and still gonna be rendering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh well.
yeah. So I'm gonna end it off here.